Oh, no, no blanks, no blanks. Just Congress, exec, or articles.
The rest of Congress 4.
Rest of Congress for 4. Reasons for high incumbency. Incumbents typically to Congress get reelected over 90% of the time. This overlaps with that Eddie Murphy video. What are reasons why the incumbents typically win more? 5. Go ahead.
Because of their name.
Name, what's that called?
Name recognition.
Name recognition is actually one of the pieces on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The longer that you stay there, the more that your name gets out. Every time there's a challenger, almost inevitably they're running for the first time. It's like you get further and further ahead the longer that you stay. Can you give me any others? There's about 4 or 5 of these. 5, 4, 3.
Advertising.
What about advertising?
It's easy to get advertising when you're an incumbent. It's easy to get promoted when you're an incumbent. You have a record to run on.
Not really. Go.
Oh, I was just gonna say that once you're in Congress, it's the stupid things that you don't do.
Can you give me an example of a stupid thing that somebody did do that cost them? 5. Because there was an article and there were several stories. 4.
Well, the ex-wife, does that count?
Who was the ex-wife?
Jack Ryan was the person.
Jack Ryan and Jerry Ryan. And what did Jack ask Jerry to do?
He wanted to have sex in public.
And?
Told her that like tears are a turn off.
Yeah, sex in public, wanted to have go to the sex club, tears are a turn-off, baby. When all of that broke out of their divorce records, he ended up dropping out. Who was it that got elected because of that?
Obama.
Barack did. Barack got elected ironically or crazily or inexplicably because of a sex scandal. But let's go back to reasons for high incumbency. I got name recognition out there. What else? 5. Think about Eddie Murphy. 4. I showed you that really long scene. And he went over things with his homies and his homette. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if this counts, but like people like a lot of times don't care. Like you saw the video, like the husband walking into the polling place, just asking his wife, like, who do we vote for?
That's true, but I don't know that that really falls in. Go ahead, government. Zoom in on government. Go ahead. Get over there, Lisa.
Race.
Race?
Yeah.
What?
Like their skin tone.
-5.
But he does that in the video.
On this, remember, money. If you remember, the person that's the incumbent is actually getting paid, and the challengers typically have to quit their job. Do you remember what a congressman's salary is? About $200,000. Keep that in mind. The challengers have to quit their job. Staff. Congress people get their staff allowance. Do you remember what the staff allowance was? About $1 million. Who pays for the challenger staff? The challenger does. You remember these things. Take a look at this. Experience. And you were talking about record. The longer that you're in Congress, the better committee assignments that you get. And the more that you can do back home. If you're a challenger, you don't have the ability to do these things. It's right in the outline. Make sure that you take a look at that, and I'll make sure that that's in there. But there's 4 or 5 of these reasons for high incumbency. Go ahead, click it. And who? Liam, I think you gave me the last correct answer. Gerrymandering would be another good one in here as well. Go ahead, touch the house. Liam, pick me a category. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 10. Pick me a category.
Articles for 4, please.
Articles for 4, please. Pictionary. I need somebody to come up and draw. This was articles for, oh, this is a big one. This is a big one. You're going to draw this? Okay.
Can I erase this first?
Yeah, go ahead. The remote control makeup. This is from articles. Pretty straightforward, man. I just need you to draw that. No words, letters, numbers, anything like that. Got 1 minute on the 9. Caleb, tell me.
Oh, phone. And then whatever link you write.
Like
I just need you to tell me what he's drawing. If he keeps drawing, there must be something else. Shh. Oh God, Robert's never
Cell
seen.
phone.
Oh, it is a
phone.
No, it's a cell phone. This is important.
Cell phone.
Y'all have it first. First Hand IC has it next. What's the significance of cell phone from the articles?
When I forgot his name, but the guy was like sexually assaulting. Like he was like taking pictures of like the.
Who was this guy? Do you remember? Or where did it start? Anything?
Yeah.
What? What was it?
North Carolina.
Yes.
I don't know. It was Christopher Snow.
Not Christopher Snowden. You kind of washed that one away. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's not
Oh, that's the
true.
wrong group. My bad. Yeah, I think I put 2 answers up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Christopher Snow was actually the guy in the cell phone case. And where were they at the beginning of all this?
They were at like an office party.
Office party at a bar. Do you remember where it was in North
Wrightsville
Carolina?
Beach, North Carolina.
I'm sorry?
Wrightsville
It was
Beach.
Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. 1, 2, 3, 4. They left the bar. Okay, can you tell me anything about that?
They go to the beach. She was pretty drunk and she passed out. He starts like fondling her and like taking pictures without her clothes on.
Yeah, he really did. She passed out, he began to fondle her, he began to take off her clothes, he began to snap pictures of her, and the police got wind of this. How did that happen?
There was someone went on a payphone and they called it in and they came.
Cell phone?
Yeah.
Payphone.
Yeah, the person called on a payphone.
Payphone, yeah. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they called on a payphone. When police got there, what'd they do?
They tried to search his phone and he felt that was against.
Well, before we get into his feelings, when they went through his phone, what'd they find?
Pictures.
They found the very pictures that were described, 1, 2, 3, 4, by the person, the people that called in on that payphone. Understand on this. The police went there, they made sure she was okay, and then after they made sure she was okay, they went back through and they found these pictures. When they got the pictures, now let's not get into him yet, they got more pictures, right? How'd they do that?
They used,
Sprint, and then
they used them to get a warrant.
They used the first pictures to get a warrant, and then they used the warrant to get more pictures from his carrier, Sprint. Now, what did he think of all of
He
this?
thought that it was against his rights, so he sued.
What rights? 5.
Search and seizure,
Yes.
unreasonable.
Fourth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizure. 1, 2, 3, 4. He felt like this was against his rights under the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizure. And if they illegally obtained these pictures, then all the pictures go away. They can't use them. What happened when it went to court?
it was thrown out because they had illegally obtained the pictures.
Zoom in on him.
So that would be considered fruit of the poisonous tree.
Okay, so they couldn't use the first pictures because they didn't have a warrant. And then they couldn't use the second pictures because they used the illegally gotten pictures to get the warrant to get the other pictures. So all the pictures were gone. What was he doing when the police walked up? Do you remember, 5?
He was putting her in his car.
Yeah, he was actually putting her in his car. And by putting her in his car, you could argue he's getting ready to go do something worse. Or you could argue he's trying to drive her to safety. When would be an example, and I'll open this up to everybody, First Hand IC. When is an example of a time when the police do not have to have a warrant to go through your cell phone? Go ahead, government.
That's like active, like if they actively like see it happening.
If they actively see it happening, or
Like open.
what do you mean it's open?
If their phone's like open.
And?
They see it.
And they see it, yeah. If they actually saw this, this would be more like a 1, 2, 3, 4 dime bag in the front seat at 2 o'clock in the morning when the police shine the flashlight. It's in plain view. However, if the phone is closed, even if they just have to do a swipe and there's not any kind of code or lock on it, at that point, it's like opening a trunk. They need a warrant then. Go ahead.
They can also search it though if someone who has the power to gives them permission to.
If there's voluntary consent, that sounds like something from the scenario. Go ahead, click it if you would. Y'all gave me the last correct answer. You do have a good lead now, but there's a lot left. Pick me something.
Us?
Yeah.
Rest of Congress, 5.
Rest of Congress for 5. Click it. Reasons for high incumbency. That looks familiar. Go ahead. We've already done that one. Take that one down. Yeah, okay, now it's gone. Okay, pick me another one.
Rest of Congress for 3, please.
Rest of Congress for 3. Click it. Impeachment. Tell me the story of impeachment.
High crimes and misdemeanors. Or are you just saying like what you...
How does it work? How does it happen? What's the process?
There's an investigation within the House, and then they bring forward articles of impeachment.
Okay, what kind of vote do they need?
majority vote?
Yeah, they just need a simple majority vote. So the House is basically going to investigate, which is what they're doing now. They're going to have a simple majority vote on some charges, articles of impeachment. And then if they pass these, what does it mean when you're impeached?
It means you put it on trial in front of the Senate.
It means that you have actually been charged with a crime. That's all it means. You've just, at this point, been charged. That's what we're talking about. Now, once you're charged, what happens?
There's a trial in front of the Senate with the Congress, whoever led the impeachment, the Congress is the trial lawyer.
The House members that bring these articles are going to act as prosecutors, and then when it goes before the Senate as a body, as the trial body, who oversees this? 5.
The
4.
Chief Justice.
Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court is the one that actually oversees this. And what vote do you need to convict? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
It's 2/3 of the Senate.
Yeah, it is. It's 2/3 of the Senate. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you just missed it. 2/3 of the Senate. And when you're convicted, what's the punishment?
You're removed from office.
You're removed from office. Yes, you are. 1, 2, 3. So basically, you're removed from office on this. There have only been 2 American. Go ahead.
Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton.
Andrew Johnson, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And Bill Clinton. In fact, they're the only 2 so far. Touch the House Ventrella, please. Pick me a category. It's time to make your move. You're not going to do it with a 1-point question.
Executive for 3.
Okay, that's a start. Click it. The election of 1800. You have it first. First hand I see has it second. Go ahead, you have it first. The election of 1800.
The election of
You got a second.
1800 was the ballot after George Washington left office. It was John Adams and his opponent. I can't remember his name.
Who was his opponent? 5.
Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson. So you had 1, 2, 3. John Adams, who is now the sitting president. 1, 2, 3. Challenger and vice president was Thomas Jefferson. But there was a third person.
Burr.
Aaron Burr. What was Aaron Burr supposed to be doing in all this?
He was supposed to be the vice president.
He was supposed to be Jefferson's vice president. So they have this election. The ballots are cast. Adams is defeated. What happened between Burr and Jefferson?
They have a duel.
No.
-3.
Him and Alexander Hamilton led it.
Yes, it was not. You got it now. What happened in the election
So
between Burr and Jefferson?
there's an electoral tie.
Electoral. How did they tie? What do you mean by that? Where did they tie exactly? 5. You're right, but be a little bit more specific.
Second.
They tied in the second.
No,
Where did they? I mean, they got the same number of votes, or where did they tie?
yeah, same number.
What kind of votes?
Electoral.
Electoral. They tied in the electoral college. 1, 2, 3. Tied in the and if the electoral college doesn't pick,
The House of Representatives.
the House of Representatives picks who ultimately is going to be president. And what happened? The shenanigans in the House.
Alexander Hamilton completely disagrees with Jefferson, but he said Aaron Burr would be a terrible
The
president.
ruin of the country. And what did Hamilton do? And the Federalist Party, by the way. Hamilton and the Federalists.
They picked Jefferson.
They picked Jefferson. Burr, how do you handle this? 5.
Terribly. He challenges Hamilton to a duel.
And what happened in the duel?
Hamilton shot up, and then Aaron Burr shot him.
Hamilton won the first shot and gave himself up. Burr ultimately, and the tradition was you give yourself up, the other person gives themselves up, it's over. Burr gunned him down, and after he gunned him down, I mean, this is sitting vice president, what did he do?
He ran away, tried to start his own country.
Boy, you gotta love the whole idea of American politics. He ran away to start his own country in the Appalachian Mountains. He was cleared of treason charges, but firsthand I say, what amendment was passed? Go ahead, government.
12.
Sorry?
12.
What does the 12th Amendment say?
The president and vice president have to be elected together.
How did it used to work, government?
They would,
I mean, now under the 12th Amendment, the president and the vice president, they're elected jointly, so you know them. How did they pick it before the 12th?
whoever had the higher votes became president.
Yep.
And whoever had the lower votes became vice president.
Yeah, the 1796 election, you had Adams of one party, Jefferson of another as president and vice president, which created a lot of tension leading into this election of 1800. So they weren't going to have this anymore. You weren't going to fight over a president trying to become vice or vice trying to become president. They just etched it in stone. Go ahead, touch